uncovering the light. Guess with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth's the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, the wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research was sift through the pith. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join and stay.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon, and tonight's episode is one of the more controversial ones I've done. We're diving into a hot topic tonight in the Bigfoot community, a possible photo hoax connected to Sasquatch Ontario's Mike Paterson. Recently, my guest, Brian King Sharp of Sasquatch Odyssey, discovered a mask that appears to be the exact match to the one used in the photograph widely circulated by Sasquatch Ontario. Now, before we jump in, I want to remind everyone what this channel is about. Sasquatch Secrets is a place for truth and for finding real answers. Bigfoot research is already a difficult road. When hoaxes enter the picture, they don't just mislead, they hurt all of us. They take away from the real investigations happening out there and fill social media with false narratives. They confuse people and they damage the credibility of serious researchers. So tonight isn't about tearing anyone down. It's about looking at the facts, asking tough questions, but fair questions, and letting you, the listeners, decide what you believe. Because truth doesn't fear investigation. So let's dive in to Sasquatch Ontario to catch a hoax. I see everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming. I see you. Wizard, I see everybody out there. Thank you. Thank you. Keep an eye on the chat tonight, my mods. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on Brian. Oops. Hey, Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, Nikki, how are you? Hello, everybody in the chat. It is good to be here.
It is good to have you on again. It's been a little while, and we've got a really interesting topic today. It's been all over social media about the mask, the CGI mask, the AI mask. No, it's there.
We should have put together a song for Neff so he could have an entrance song for everybody.
Oh, you know what? It's actually bigger than I thought it was, though. You know, you holding it in your hands, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. I actually have this big antique lamp that sits on my desk that has a huge piece of glass over it, and that's what I've used for the photos, and I just leave it sitting here in my studio so I can see Neff, and he watches me work every day. So
that's great. So let's get into how you came about finding the mask or getting a hold of the mask. What was the initial, I heard it was the Reddit. You were reading on a Reddit site and came across it.
Yeah, it really started the journey for finding the mask started when the hoax began a couple of years ago, when Mike put these ridiculous images out there and claimed that it was the face of Sasquatch, the face of Nefertia. I immediately started looking for the mask. I was deep into it. 4 or 5 days, I devoted quite a bit of time to looking for something that was close, right? And I got very close multiple times, but there was no smoking gun. There was no exact match. These are the photos that you have up for everybody to see now. Those are the originals. The one on the bottom is me where I lightened the contrast. It took about 4 seconds to figure out this is definitely a mask, right?
Yeah, so and everybody did that. That was everybody's first instinct, was just lighten it up and see what was behind that blackness. And oh my gosh, it really told a lot. And aside from it looking like a total setup, with the towel there and then that black cloth, it was crazy. It looked fake from the beginning to me. And I think the search for that mask went out wide. I think everybody was on the hunt for that mask.
I bet somebody in a cubicle at Google was like, holy shit, what's happening now? Because everybody was looking for the mask, right? Including me. Couldn't find anything that was 100%. So I just let it go. I let it fall from the wayside, got busy. Life goes on, right? But I wanted to find it so bad because I so wanted. It's very rare that we have the opportunity that was presented here. Mike talked about it in the initial video when he released these photographs to the world and claimed that they were the face of a Sasquatch. He challenges people in the video. He says, hey, I know that some of you guys are going to think this is a mask, but I guarantee you're never going to find it because it's not. It's the face of a Bigfoot, right?
I remember that.
No, wrong. Number one, when does anybody present anything as evidence and say, I know you're going to think this is fake, but it's not? Most people don't say that, right? When I cast prints and I put cast out there for people to see, feel, touch, examine, scan, whatever, I have never once said, hey, I cast these on my property, and you'll never find the stompers that I used because that's not what I did here. This is real, right? Who says that? But that's what he said. And fortunately for us in the community that cared about the subject like I do, somebody was able to find it. Your local gay cryptid, I don't know who that is, but that is the account on Reddit who found this mask that had a link to a Facebook marketplace listing where they were selling this. And I think there was 2 or 3 other masks that were unrelated to this one. And as soon as I saw the image, I said, ding, 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 ding. That is it. I have studied this photograph that you have up now, these photos, multiple times, lightened the contrast, zoomed in. What immediately stood out to me was these ridges that you can see in the forehead that kind of come down in a W or a V shape. Right. That was very distinctive. The brow ridge with the almost, again, a W shape in the brow between the eyes.
Right.
And the nose is very distinctive. It's very almost triangular. And then those teeth. Man, those pearly white teeth that Nefertia uses crest.
Yeah.
Strips.
Oh.
So I immediately said, that's the mask. Hands down, gotta have it. So I messaged the person selling it up in Ontario, Canada, very close to where Mike, or so I've been told, very close to where Mike and Dwayne perpetrate their hoaxes. And I'm assuming they live in that area. I messaged the girlfriend, responds back. She says, hey, my boyfriend's dealing with that. He's out of town for work for 2 weeks. We're not shipping the mask. You got to pick it up locally in Ontario, Canada. And they wanted like $4 US for the mask. And I was like, damn, do I spend $4 and then spend $2,000 flying round trip to make this journey up? And I was literally considering it. But she said, hey, when my boyfriend gets back, he'll be back in a week or so. Here's his profile. You can send him a message. So he and I started messaging. And he's like, hey, man, you make it worth my while. You sweeten the deal a little bit. I'll ship it to you. No problem. So I think $60 for shipping later and another $100+ for him to make it worth his while. I come home from a trip. I think I went to speak down in Florida, and Neff was waiting in my office. He didn't look like that. There was you can see the original photos. I'm sure. I don't know if you have the original photo, Nikki, that people would see. You can certainly see it on our website.
There's your original.
There you go. There's what it looked like when I got home, right? So it's very different from what we see, obviously, in Mike's photographs and then the ones that I've recreated and obviously what's sitting on my desk here. I had to try to find a way to paint this and turn it black.
Right.
I used shoe polish. I used a couple of different types of paint. Nothing was really working. So I was sitting here at the desk and I was signing some books to send out to some folks that had purchased some books on our website. And I had a Sharpie in my hand and I just took the mask off the desk and I started coloring a little spot on with the Sharpie.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it gave that shiny sort of feel to it that are in the photos. Those are my photos. You can see it pretty clearly there.
Yeah.
So I hand colored the entire thing with a Sharpie. Took me a while. I had to find some eyes. I had to paint the teeth. So I used a white marker, permanent marker for the teeth. They're very white there. They're obviously a little whiter than what is on the mask that Dwayne and or Mike used for their original photos, but they're still pretty prominent, right? It's pretty damn close. I was proud of myself for once I got these photos done. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. It took about 3 weeks for the guy to get back and me to get the mask here. So I was really chomping at the bit. And then it took we've had so much rain here in North Carolina over the past 4 months. It feels like it's rained literally every day. So I had to wait so it wasn't raining at night so I could go out and actually try to recreate these. And I had to be here. I've been doing speaking events. I had a medical emergency and had to have emergency surgery while I was out of town in Pennsylvania 4 weeks ago. In a couple of days here, I had to have surgery while I was up there. So I've had a lot going on and I just haven't had a chance to do this. But the minute I was feeling better, I went out and bought some lattice from Lowe's. I set up a background, a dark background.
That's incredible. Look at that. It looks really good.
I had no way of knowing what kind of camera they used, whether it was a cell phone or an actual handheld camera. I assumed with those guys that it was probably the same little digital camera that Neff takes his selfies with in Mike's house and the eyeball picture from the fish shows up and those kind of things. But I had an old 5S iPhone, I think, one of the little Tic Tac iPhones that I pulled out and charged up. Has no service, but the camera worked. So I tried that because I thought it was a little lower quality, which they seem to be. I ended up taking the photos that you see on the bottom there with my new iPhone 16 Pro or whatever I have. It's clearly a crisper image than you see in Mike's image. But I almost wanted that because I wanted people to see the details and then compare them and then change the contrast. And I guarantee you can get it very close to Mike's, what you see there. So yeah, it was literally a couple of month process. I looked at the receipt that I had from Lowe's and I bought the lattice, I think back at the end of July. So I just got these photos out last week. So it kind of shows you how long it took me to do it. The actual shoot only took me one night. I went out there. I took a couple of nights and I changed locations once because I wasn't happy with the way they looked. So I had to take these down to our shed because it had that piece of wood that you see there on the porch. And I just propped the lattice up under it to make it look similar to theirs. And I put something red there. The interesting thing that I found when Mike first brought these out was you see those original photos. He claims that those two photographs were taken seconds apart. That Dwayne took one photo, boom, and he took another photo just a couple of seconds later, right?
Right.
My first question was, if that's the case, why is that blanket, that light blanket, so much thinner, and the shovel is clearly outside of it there on the one photo on the right, and then the other image that's supposed to be a couple of seconds later, is it unfolded and the shovel is behind it? That was a big red flag for me, just in observation initially.
Right.
And I said, what was Neff doing? Was he folding clothes for Mike and he was in the middle of folding clothes and he had it folded differently? I'm not really sure what happened there.
Right. Yeah, you can in your photo because you got the zoomed out one. I don't think I grabbed the zoomed out one to enlarge it. But yeah, you could definitely see that those had changed. You know, in the next picture. And also somebody also mentioned in the chat that he was claiming that black was his Neff's arm.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that's what he was saying. That's why the mouth was different. That's the first thing he said, because when I found this mask, if you follow me on Facebook or you're friends with me on Facebook, it's still my profile picture. I think I'm in a Sasquatch Odyssey t-shirt with the mask on my head because I was so happy when I got it. I had to take a selfie, right? So I put it out there, and immediately when I did a post about it, Mike went on the offense. He attacked me personally. I've posted all that stuff online. He said some really horrible things to me personally. You know, I got thick skin. It really doesn't bother me. It was just sad to me. And I gave him every opportunity to come clean. I said, look, dude, I believe that Dwayne is hoaxing you. Dwayne took these photographs. Dwayne's admitted on video in his own voice that he's the voice of Neff, that's all a hoax. If you would just come clean, you may be able to buy yourself a little bit of inroads with the community to say, you know, guys, I was hoaxed. I'm a victim here. But he refused. He doubled down. He called me some really horrible names and tried to make me feel really bad. Unfortunately for him, I have pretty thick skin and it really doesn't bother me. But all it did was show his character. It just showed the kind of person that he is. And it just really made him look even sadder than he already did. But that sort of convinced me. There's still a little twinge. I was telling you before we went live. There's still something nibbling in the back of my head that says either it began that way or in some way he's still being possibly dragged along in this hoax. I don't know, but he's clearly complicit at this point. He's got to know. Anybody can look at these photographs and know that that's not real, that it's clearly a mask. I mean, look at the hairline. I mean, it's identical. It's literally identical. And there's a reason that this mask came out of Canada, just miles away from where he lives. I haven't found one of these at Party City here in America, in North Carolina, where I live. It's probably something, there's no kind of marker inside to say the manufacturer, so there's no way to track that down. I looked, I tried, I asked the guy who sold it. He initially told me he had 2 masks that are identical to this because his girlfriend's dad is the one who actually he got them from. She had 2 brothers that were relatively the same age and or twins, and this was their Halloween costume several years ago. That's why he has 2 of these masks. I was trying to get the other one from him because I wanted one that was unaltered.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to have to alter this one, so I wanted the one in its original condition. Unfortunately, he reached out to me after we started having those conversations and said that he and his girlfriend broke up and she threw the mask away or he didn't have access to it, and unfortunately I couldn't get it. So fortunately, I got this one when I did, because I don't think this would have ever got done had I not got that from him, because I don't know how many of these masks exist. I mean, how many old Halloween masks do you have laying around from 5 or 10 years ago? Probably not many. So I think it was just a stroke of genius that whoever this person on Reddit was that actually found the mask, did the post. I stay off of Reddit. I think it's the bunghole of social media. I don't spend a whole lot of time there, but I get the notifications. So I clicked on it because it was Mike Paterson, obviously, or referencing his photograph. So yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. And that's where we are. And I have not heard from Mike. After he said all the horrible things he said privately on Facebook, he blocked me, and I haven't heard anything from him since. I figured there would be another attack, but he did make the one video like 3 or 4 weeks ago and said, you know, he was addressing the mask thing for the last time because it was completely bogus and that it had been created by AI. It wasn't real. So I don't know that he'll ever address this. I really don't.
Now, for the record, I know there's going to be some people who are fans of Mike and are saying, well, this isn't fair. You're attacking him. Listen, I contacted him. We had a small chat and I invited him onto the show to defend himself. He made it quite clear. He said there is nothing to defend. I'll read that part to you here. He says there's nothing to defend. Only an idiot would look at that mask and fall for it. The teeth don't even match his AI mask on the table, which is what I mean. Only an idiot would fall for that. Sorry, I'm reading off the thing. The amount of supporting evidence I've gathered over 12 years is a mountain's worth. Enjoy your show. And I told him, thank you. We were both cordial. And then he replied, Brian needs help. He's crying for attention.
Oh, will you please give me attention? I need it so bad.
Yeah. He then sent me, he wanted to educate me about the Bigfoot and sent me a a video, about a 2-hour long video of where I guess Bigfoot come from. What are Palladians or whatever, UFOs, they're celestial beings that came down and created everything and us and Bigfoot, and Bigfoot have been here for millions of years, thousands of years or whatever. So, yeah. So, he did put out his own video about the mask, very short, video, just saying the same thing we just told you. He thinks it was AI generated or something like that. But as you can clearly see, Brian was holding it in his hand. It's real.
Let me stroke his hair for you guys. The hair it's real. I promise. The eyeballs are falling out because they're taped into his head, but they're there.
Ears, gorilla masks, Bigfoot masks with ears like that, you don't find them. You can't find them like that. They're generally just flat little holes, not protrude ears like that. They're not. So it's really rare, to find that.
That was another thing that stuck out to me. The hair comes out on the mask, and you can actually change the position of the ears a little bit. You can tuck that in, and it's actually, if you get really close, if you get close into Mike's photos, the ears are a little bit like that part is tucked in on his. I don't think you can really see it very well. And obviously, this part here, you see it in the bottom photo. You can really see it. Top two, especially the one where the mouth is covered up with that piece of towel or whatever he put down. There's a little bit of white here, and I believe that they colored that white or left it that way purposely so they could take a couple of different photos and see what it looked like and see which one they liked the best, because clearly it's not the same. Even if you look in his own photos here, the one on the left there, look at it would be the left ear as you're looking at the screen. It's the right. There's a bigger sliver of white there than there is in the same ear on the other one, right? So even that is off. These were clearly taken multiple. I mean, it might have even been separate days again, because the folding is off. The shovel is behind whatever that material is in the front there in one of the photos. So there's no telling what they went through to do it. I didn't fit. People ask me, are you going to address the white part of the ear? No, I'm not going to color the mask even more and take more photos. If you need that much convincing, I'm not talking to the right person. So
right. You won't be convinced. Yeah. Also, our friend, the Lazy Cowboy, Ed, had done a short video of the what do you call it? Oh gosh. Let me see if I can get it up here. Where he morphed it, from being an overlay. He did an overlay for you. And of the two masks, and I'll bring that up now. Let me just.
Todd Gatewood actually did a pretty decent overlay as well. I thought was pretty powerful that he posted on the social media after I did my post, which I thought was interesting. Oh boy.
Pretty cool.
Wow. I think we have a match, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have a match.
That was pretty smooth. Pretty smooth there.
I thought it was smart. I thought it was smart of Mike to even come out when he did the video. If you guys watch it's like 7 or 8 minutes that he put out about the There Is No Mask video or whatever about a month ago. At this point, he talks about the fact that he feels like this was made by AI, but that the face of Neff was used to create the AI image, right? So even if he has to come back later on, he can say, well, yeah, they somehow used AI and they used our photos of Neff and they created this mask. So obviously it looks just like Neff because it's Neff's face that they used. So I'm sure that's going to happen at some point in time. Again, if you fall for that or you believe that, it is clear that you are the wrong audience for this. Because that's the other thing that I've seen, and I want to ask you this about, Nikki. if you've experienced this in the community as well, because you do a lot of this, right? More than I do, honestly, as far as debunking hoaxes and talking about hoaxers and those kind of things.
Looking at it, yeah.
This is the thing that it's sort of put a bad taste in my mouth in a way about the community, because as soon as I posted these photos, I was stoked, because it is rare. In my opinion, it is rare. And feel free, if you're in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong here. But how many times do we get a smoking gun and a hoax related to Bigfoot?
A lot. I mean, it happens a lot, and people don't want to believe. You see it time and time again.
But truly, a true smoking gun where somebody's able to. Todd Standing's been called a hoaxer for years. I've done that for years. How can we prove that Todd's stuff is a hoax without him admitting it? Right? It was the same thing, the same challenge for me and Mike. But I did get the smoking gun here, right? And what he's built his entire brand, his entire YouTube channel with almost 82,000 subscribers on, is all of the things that he's put forward about Nefertia and his family, right? All of these things that he's claimed as far as experiences that are only him and Dwayne present when they happen, are only him. So you can't prove that. It's all subjective. You just have to believe or not. But these were different. He put out physical photographs that he claimed to be a Sasquatch. And we found the mask, we altered the mask, and we proved that those are 100% not real. How many times does that happen in the Bigfoot community? To me, not a lot. I haven't seen that a lot. There's plenty of people who get called a hoaxer and say whatever, right? But to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt with a smoking gun is almost unheard of. And when I post this, I get the same thing from people in multiple places. Why are you wasting your time on this guy? We've known he's been a hoaxer for 10 years. Well, okay. But there's clearly 80 some odd thousand people on his channel that believe what he says. So I think it's important for us in the community, when you have the opportunity to go the extra mile and do something like this, do it, because that's what it takes for a lot of people. And I have, on the flip side, had people say to me, man, I believed Mike until I saw your photos. So that's why I've done it.
Next question. How many people have come to you saying that's what I needed to prove this to me? You know?
Oh, maybe three.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time it's, oh, this is a nothing burger. We knew that for years. Okay. Again, I said it over on that Bigfoot podcast a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this. You're not my audience. You're clearly not drinking the Kool-Aid. You're not drinking the Flavor Aid. You're not going to Jonestown with Mike, right? You're not the person I'm talking to. I'm talking to these delusional people that he has pulled the wool over their eyes for so many years, and they bought this hook, line, and sinker. Those are the people I'm trying to talk to. And if it's only 10 people, if I get 7 more to go with those 3 that have already said I've changed their mind, I feel like it's worth it to me, because that's what's important. I don't do this I got plenty of attention. I've got more attention than I need or want. I'm not doing this for accolades. I'm not doing it for money. Nobody paid me to do this. I do it because it's important. I care about this subject. I love this subject. I love people who do real research, and I hate people who hoax. I dislike it. It is one of the worst things, in my opinion, you could do for this community. And if I get a chance to bust you and show people the smoking gun, I'm going to do it 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that when we come up with this type of evidence, that we have to keep sharing it over and over. I say the same thing about the Beacon Bigfoot hoax. There is oodles and oodles of photos that I have in regards to Chaka, the little Bigfoot, running around, and the baby on the back of the mom. And, we've got so much actual, evidence that stuff is fake. Yet people still, a lot of those posts are from fake accounts and from people who don't even live in the US. They're just scam, channels. But people keep falling for them over and over. So I think people will fall for things like this all the time. You know, even if it's fun and games, there's people who will come out because they want to believe so bad that, Bigfoot is real, and that they let that all the other stuff kind of overshadow what they're saying. So I wanted to also bring up the channel, The Truth Prevails. For those of you who don't know about it, it's a good channel out there that's accumulated a lot of videos and evidence about Sasquatch Ontario, and trying to proving what Shrum and his partner are kind of like probably in on it, with, I mean, text messages. There's text messages on there saying, that he did the voice of Nefertia, and you can find a lot of that on the Hall of Shame, Steve Cull's Sasquatch Squatch Detective, his blog on Weebly. You can find a lot of information there too, and it goes on. This one was my favorite though, was the eyeball that he claimed was one of the Bigfoot in the family. I don't remember if he said it was Nefertia's eyeball, but it was clearly a fish eye of a fish that was hanging in the cottage, and Daryl, posted, this is what the Squatch eye is, it's just a fish. So when things like that happen, what makes people want to believe that? I don't know.
Well, he's very convincing. He takes this cult leader mentality of, I am the enlightened one. The only way for you to get there is for me to share what I know with you and what they've shared with me, because interactions with them are special and rare. Yet he has them almost every time he looks for them, even inside. They're throwing marbles at him and talking to him and gifting and taking selfies on his sofa. But he's the one who's enlightened. And somebody said in the chat, he's got 80,000 plus people duped. How many of them are giving him their hard-earned money? A ton of them, because he has a member section on his YouTube channel. And if you watch his latest video from a couple of weeks ago, he's now starting to get into the, drum roll please, the tide standing, I'll take you out into the woods on expedition, and you can get one-on-one time for a nominal fee, as quote unquote Mike put it in his video. So yeah, you can get the firsthand knowledge in the place it happens right there, and you might even have an experience. Who knows? Dwayne may be out in the woods and dogging like Nefertia.
Ooh, that was good.
Mike bad. Yes. Mike bad. So yeah, there you go. So he's getting into that game, and it is a money game.
Yeah.
That video where he announced the face of Neff, these ridiculous photos, 120 some odd thousand views at this point. That's a lot of views. That's money. That's money in his pocket for everybody who's went and looked at it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Did you receive attacks from his followers? Because it said that, a lot of his followers are pretty, engaging, let's say.
Yeah, I haven't really had a whole ton of them. There's been a few, I guessed it on a couple of shows after the initial photos and things like that. And there were a few in the chat that were, I think one of them was actually Mike himself, but yeah, not too many. I mean, not to say that it's not coming. I'm very surprised that Mike hasn't lashed out since this happened, because this is obviously pretty huge. I've literally blown his photographs out of the water as a clear hoax. But
you're right.
I gave him every opportunity, very much like you opened the show with. He was given the opportunity multiple times. I've given an open invitation for him and or Dwayne to come on the show and defend anything that they've ever said or done in relation to this or any of the stuff that they've ever claimed. He just simply tells me he doesn't have time to talk to anybody who calls him a hoaxer. He wants to control the narrative, and he wants somebody who's going to throw him softballs and praise him for all of his hard work. He knows that's not going to happen on my show. So he'll never come on and defend himself. But yeah, the attacks I'm sure will come, and I'm ready for it. I really don't care at this point. I'm way past that in my life and my career. I just don't care. And it's so freeing to be in that position, to be able to say that and call these people out, and the repercussions could always be there. But
right.
I hope that some of these people that may have been on the fence or may have had that tickle in the back of their brain saying, man, is this really true? I think some of them probably have known, and maybe this will be enough for them to somehow see the light of day, if you will. Let me address something that Pat here from Squatch Talk just said a few minutes ago in the chat. It's all entertainment. Bigfoot is never involved. I'm not going to entertain Pat's take on Bigfoot. We all know he's done a 180 in the Bigfoot community and thinks that now it's all about putting everybody down in the Bigfoot community that has anything to do with believing in the subject. I've seen them 3 times in 2 days. So Bigfoot is involved in certain cases, Pat. It's not all entertainment. And I've made no qualms about being part of the entertainment part. I think, Nikki, you've actually done shows about me being a part of the entertainment part of Bigfoot. I make no qualms about that. I'm not an idiot. I know my show is about entertainment. Some of the other podcasts that I host, like Backwoods Bigfoot Stories, where I narrate stories, are pure entertainment for people. I am proud to be a part of that. But let me tell you what I also am. I am very serious about the research in the subject. I'm very serious about the evidence that's presented. And I'm very serious about people who have had real encounters with these creatures. And to anybody who chooses outside of entertainment, these photographs that Mike took is not entertainment. That is hoaxing. It is grifting. It is taking advantage of people's gullibility. And it is also reaping the financial benefits of a lie. That's all it is. He has perpetrated a lie for the last 12+ years. So there is a part of entertainment with Bigfoot, as there is with anything. Friday Night Football is entertainment. Are there nefarious things that happen in football games? Are people betting illegally? Yes, there's nefarious things that happen in everything. So there is a part of this that's entertainment, but it's not all entertainment. It is a very serious thing for a lot of people. And I happen to be one of those people that take this very seriously. So again, Pat, you said it before, I have a very big microphone and I will use it when given the opportunity if you're doing something nefarious. Plain and simple. Just like I raise people up who do the research. There are probably people in the chat right now that are researchers that have been on my show and gotten lifted up for what they do and how they do it. It's a two-way street. It goes, the boat lifts no matter which way it goes, right? But I try to do this in the right way. I try not to deceive people. I tell people the facts and you make of it what you want. I have always openly welcomed anybody who wants to challenge anything I've ever put forward as evidence, anything I've ever claimed that's happened to me, or any piece of evidence physical that I have produced. Feel free to challenge me on it. I have no problems answering any questions or going on anybody's show and having those conversations. Some people aren't like that. You're never going to see Mike doing that. So, sorry, I got on a little rant there.
No, that was fine. How, for the bigger picture, the discovery affects credibility of, well, especially for Sasquatch Ontario, this coming out. Do you think it damaged him at all? This coming out? Because I have a feeling it hasn't.
No, to Pat's point, Pat was correct. And I just told you what was wrong with Pat's outlook on Bigfoot. I'll tell you what's right about it. Pat is correct. There is a narrative out there in Bigfoot. I don't always agree with the narrative. I think the narrative is flawed. And part of that flaw is twofold, I think. There's a lot of things going on in the community. What happens with him is he's got these people so far in the bag that the majority of them, hands down, are going to stick beside him no matter what he says. That's just the facts. Todd Standing's proven that over the last 10+ years as well. It's been a proven fact. They're going to stick in his corner no matter what. So in that way, no, I don't think I've affected him at all as far as his subscription numbers on his YouTube channel, the money he's making, whatever the case may be. That's not why I did this, frankly. I know I was never going to take him down by proving he was a hoaxer. Those people are never going to believe me. I'm the enemy because I'm not enlightened like Mike. He's the only one who's enlightened. He is the grand poobah here of Bigfoot. And I'm just some lowly podcaster who's trying to take him down with some mask that I created using AI. That's all I am here. But no, I think it's sad that that's the case. But I'm going to say this too, and I don't know if anybody else will agree, the chat, you, whomever. I'm seeing this trend with the Facebook groups. There are tons of Bigfoot Facebook groups out there with tons of people in them. There's one that's got 60 some odd thousand people in it. There's a lot of groups that have 100,000 people in it, but you post over there, nobody sees it because those people have been in the group for 20 years since it was created. They're not active. This group is, and I'm not going to name it, it's active. You post over there, there's 300, 500, 600 interactions in some cases, depending on what you post. The problem with that group is when I posted this post about this hoax, it was immediately approved because I'm an admin and listed as a quote expert in the group. It was immediately approved and then immediately taken down. And I got a message scolding me by one of the other admins that I should never post anything like that ever again in this group because that's not what they're about. And then the person who actually created the group years ago sent me a private message and said, hey, I get what you're doing here. It's just not that kind of group. We allow people to post any and everything they want. Clearly, they let people post any picture of a stick, leaf, or tree and call it a Bigfoot. But if you bust a hoaxer, they don't want to, that doesn't make the newspapers. They don't want that in their group because they want it to be a safe place and a safe environment for people to come and talk about Bigfoot. Well, safe for some people is dangerous waters for me. I don't want to be involved in anything that has to do with that. I have a Facebook group with about 13,000 members in it, Bigfoot Encounters and Field Research on Facebook. If you post some bullshit like this, you're going to get challenged. Somebody's going to say, that's bullshit. How did that happen? They're going to call you out because that's healthy discourse. That is healthy conversation. It's opening. It opens people up to ask questions. You should be able to defend what you post. If you make extraordinary claims, put the extraordinary evidence out there and let people make their decisions. But these groups they don't allow laughing emojis. If you post a laughing emoji on somebody's post, you get kicked out. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. But it is your group. And I told him, hey, it's your group. I don't agree with it. Run it how you want. But I can tell you, Bigfoot Encounters and Field Research, that's not the kind of group that is. If you post something, it's going to be challenged. I get challenged. I've actually had to tell my admins, stop muting people and taking them out of the group because they're challenging me and my evidence. Well, he's calling you a liar. Leave the post up. Let me defend myself. Let me defend my evidence. Plain and simple. That's the kind of group I run. And if more people in the community handled their business that way, I think we would have less of these 80. Todd Stanley's got almost 140,000 subscribers on his channel. Everybody's buying it hook, line, and sinker. But if we as a community band together and said, you know what? We're going to have real discourse. If you post a dumbass picture of something that looks ridiculous, somebody should be able to say, hey, man, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look like an arm. It looks like a piece of material, some kind of fabric that you've got bunched up under this mask's mouth and calling it an arm. But we can't have that kind of discourse because it might hurt somebody's feelings. Well, sorry. I guess I hurt Mike's feelings. Sorry, not sorry.
It was a reach. I think it was a reach, but it's almost like mental, it's they're have a veil over them already and they're blindly following him. So I don't know if it's not being scared to say something, they just won't. And that happens, like you said, everywhere on the internet. And it's getting to where, I want to quit talking about it and saying, well, where's your picture before and after? And where's the rest? Why are you showing a 3-second little video? What happened to the rest? There's more to the story, and we should know what the rest of the story is. and that's not happening. And the more you go to these channels on social media that are like that and support them, it's going to continue, you know. And I don't know what else to say, you know. Leave the channels, go to channels that are more reputable and let you talk and let you ask questions. Remember, that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to ask questions about this amazing thing that's happening with this creature out there that I know many people who have seen this creature and who I feel are credible. And that's why I believe. So, you know, that's what keeps me going, is having these people out there telling their encounters and making us keep wanting to find the answers. Now, it's a larger implications for the whole Bigfoot community when stuff like this happens. And they just eat it up. I mean, the pictures went out and the comments underneath were just kind of sickening.
Oh, that's the greatest thing ever, Mike. You're amazing. You got Neff on camera. We can see and the sad thing is I said this over on that Bigfoot podcast the other day. I had Dr. Hogan Sharoz, a PhD, on, and he's co-hosted the last couple of shows and had some really great discussions. And one of them was about this mask. And I said it to him. I said, you know, if like I take this very seriously, I am conflicted some days about discovery of these creatures and what that might mean for them. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I do want science involved in this as much as possible. I think more scientists getting involved in this would make it a much more serious thing. Hey, there's your local gay cryptid that found the mask on Reddit and did the post that I was able to find the mask with, and that's why we're here today. So glad to see you in the chat. So I said to him the other day, you know, what's sad to me is if you just take Mike Paterson, if you just took his body of work, we'll call it, and I'm using that term loosely, of the audio, the videos, the footprints that are alleged, all the things that they've hoaxed, these photographs, that ridiculous eyeball photo, right? All of those subscribers and all of those people and all those likes and all of those views on YouTube push his stuff up to the top of any Google searches. It pushes it to the top of YouTube's algorithms, Facebook algorithms, all the rhythms, right? Mm-hmm. If I, as a scientist, said, you know what, I'm a PhD and I'm very well known in my field of anthropology, I want to get into this Bigfoot thing. I've always been curious about this. Let me go see what's on the interwebs. And I get on the computer and I say, oh, what's Sasquatch Ontario? Wow, some photos. And this pops up and it's the first thing I see as a scientist. That's the top result for Bigfoot. I'm going the other way. I'm looking into Dogman. I'm gonna go to Loch Ness and see. I'm going to Lake Champlain. I'm going to see if I can get in Area 51 and see the aliens. Bigfoot is a joke, right? The second thing's going to be Todd Standing's ridiculous photos of his dad rolling around with shoe polish on his face under a log, and the animatronics and the Muppets it's a joke. It's literally a joke. These guys are jokes in this community to us. But if you're an academic and the only thing you have is the data, this is the data. It is the data.
It is.
And all that's all this counts. Are you going to look into this seriously? Are those photographs going to make you look into Bigfoot seriously? Yes or no?
No, absolutely not.
Another reason to do what I did, plain and simple. And anybody who has the opportunity to do this on even any level whatsoever, it's important to do it. And there's plenty of people who don't like it. People don't like the drama. They think I'm a drama queen because I'm calling them out. No. It's about right and wrong, plain and simple. It's the principle. It is fundamentals. That's it. That's all it is. You took a picture of a mask and claimed that it was a Bigfoot, and I proved that you're wrong. I proved that it was a mask. End of the story.
Yeah. My whole thing about my channel and bringing these things up over and over, and I'm kind of like want to address Grasshopper, because Grasshopper made a really long comment here. Y'all taking this too personally serious. Can't stop idiots from themselves. This is supposed to be a hobby. Let all the crap go. But that's the purpose of my show, is to not let this crap go, is to show it over and talk about it over and over again, so that little by little, some people are going to find that, okay, maybe this is, a hoax. Maybe this isn't right. Maybe there's more to it. Asking the questions. And this is fun for me. This is all fun for me. My channel is all about me having my hobby and love talking about Sasquatch and Bigfoot and the investigations and my glamping or whatever I want to do out there in the woods looking for Sasquatch. Listen, it's all fun, and it's about going out and meeting the people that I have, had the wonderful time meeting in British Columbia, in Washington, and going out and having fun doing these things, looking for Sasquatch or just having fun together. It's a lot more to it than just, what a lot of people think, looking for a cryptid. But
and with all due respect, Grasshopper, I get what you're saying. I too have fun with this, but this is my job. This is my full-time job. This is how I make a living. It's how I pay my bills. It's how I take care of my family. So it is serious to me. If somebody's making a mockery out of something, A, that I love, B, that I've experienced, and C, that's my job, I feel some sense of duty. It's very much like being a cop and knowing that there's a dirty cop on your roster and not saying anything about it. You're complicit. You're just as complicit as the person doing whatever they're doing. And I can say that because I was a cop. And that went on. We had dirty cops that got busted while I was there. They're in prison to this day. So it's part of life. Yes, life is fun. I have a blast. I'm getting hyped up tonight because I am passionate about this. But at the end of the day, this is fun for me. I've been playing with this the entire time. Like, this is fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for Nikki to have these kind of conversations. But it's also important because you still have to understand that it's not a joke for everybody. It's not just something that's a pastime for people. It's something that allows other people. It's being used as a tool to take advantage of people. Gullible people, call them whatever you want, but they're being taken advantage of, and it's wrong. And the subject can be both things at the same time. They can coexist simultaneously and both be true. This can be fun. It can be a hobby. It can be playful. We can joke and laugh, which we do all the time. We've done it tonight several times. But It can also be serious at the same time, because this is serious for a lot of people. If you have a really serious, traumatic experience with one of these things, it's a very serious thing for you. It's not jokes. It's not laughable. And when someone's making fun of other people by perpetuating these hoaxes and then sitting back collecting money and laughing at you, that's wrong. And I'm not going to let it stand while I'm here and have a microphone to speak into. Plain and simple. Right.
What Mike Nation says, what researcher do you recommend?
I don't recommend anybody. I can tell you there's a few that I know personally that I think do great work. I think Shane Carpenter at the 400, one great solid researcher that I've spent time with in the field that does a great job. The folks at the Olympic Project doing a great job. So I think you just have to do your own research. If you can do it yourself, do it yourself. I think somebody said it earlier. Yeah, I'm starving for attention, but I'm in the woods every day. I literally live in the woods. I know that's probably hard for people to comprehend, and they probably think I'm full of shit, but we literally live in the woods. I have to leave the woods to go into civilization. So I'm constantly in the woods. Am I out looking for Bigfoot every day? No, but I'm out on my property multiple times a day. That's how I found the evidence that I found here. So I consider that research. And those people that actually go out in the woods and do this, those are the people that you need to be talking to. I can't recommend a researcher I can just tell you the few people that I've hung out with that I think are doing good research. Cliff Barrickman does a lot of boots on the ground research. Cliff's in the woods a lot. Matt Pruitt in the woods a lot. I've called those guys, texted them. Cliff and I played phone tag for 3 weeks a couple of months ago because he was in the field. He was in, every minute he had was spent in his research area. That's his peace. That's his quiet. That's what he loves to do. So he's a great researcher. So there's a ton out there. You just have to find what you're looking for. If you're just in this for the stories, listen to Sasquatch Odyssey. You're going to hear some amazing stories from people who have experienced things. You're going to hear me narrate some of the amazing historical stories that you may have never heard before. If that's your thing, listen. But if you want boots on the ground research, which I talk about on occasion, the things that I've found and the things that I've done, I've been to other continents looking for these things. But if you're wanting serious boots on the ground, there's tons of people out there. Get on Facebook, get in the groups. You'll see the people. You'll know them automatically. And just find somebody that you gel with and get out in the woods yourself. That's the most important thing. If you can physically get out in the woods yourself, that's the most important thing that I like to preach about Bigfoot is get out in the woods. If you have no experiences whatsoever related to anything to do with Bigfoot, you're still going to breathe better. You're going to move better. You're going to have a great time. You're going to relax. Just get out in the woods and have a good time. That's what it's really all about. You're right. It's not all about being upset and, to Grasshopper's point, lighten up a little bit. But until these people stop perpetrating hoaxes and taking advantage of people, I'm going to keep screaming it to the rafters.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate everything you've done and how you present yourself in your podcast, especially going out to see Todd Standing. I thought that was excellent, the way you presented that and everything you did up there. We're not going to find the smoking gun every time, folks. It's not like that. But there's a lot of, chances. We need to go out to these areas, explore them ourselves, and see what we find on our own. But I know I'm going to be losing you here pretty soon. And I wanted to bring on a couple of guests who have popped into the back. So let's bring on. Hey, Tate, you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. How you doing?
Oh, I am chilling in the one place that makes me happy while I'm in Florida, the hot tub.
You're the hot tub. Yeah, of course. I should have known. Whenever his face isn't on there, that's where he is. I'm going to bring on Ron's here in the back too. So let's bring Ron on. Hey, Ron. How you doing? Oh.
I love the boy band music for Ron's intro.
Can you hear us? Can you? Uh-oh. I got no audio on you. Hold on. Let me check something.
Like some type of theater we're watching, like a silent movie.
I don't know. Unmute. Let me go over here. See if I can get you over here.
How about now?
There we go. Got it.
Whatever. If I think it's muted or it's not muted, I always choose the wrong thing. So
my life story.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? And what do you think about all this?
Tate, do you want to start?
I guess in layman's terms, I love it when people get busted. So
yeah, good stuff.
It was pretty evident. It was pretty evident. What? Look at I'll be able to hop on when I get back from the store. Had to go get that Parmesan cheese.
Priorities, right?
I'm glad to see where we rank in the scheme of things with Brent, right?
Exactly. On top of the comments. What? Why are comments layered on top of the comments? Why are layer? What are you talking about?
You
The
have to
one on the
scroll-
show?
they have to scroll down. They're not scrolling down. If you don't scroll actively, all the comments will pile on. So you have to click the button to go to new comments or scroll.
Yeah.
This has been a public service announcement from StreamYard and YouTube.
Yeah, it's pretty. You have to do this. We have to bring it up. We have to get out to as many people as possible when things like this happen, because every day there are new people coming into the community, and that's what they see. They see, oh, this guy has 81,000 subscribers. He must be onto something. You know, he must really be teaching or know what he's doing. But I know everybody's got their own way of doing stuff.
Gotta call.
And what was that?
Gotta call these people out, man. Oh, Nikki, can you play that video, the restoration video I sent you? I think Brian will like this.
The Gruesome Twosome said, "How did Sasquatch Ontario get busted? Late to the party, or?"
A bit late to the party. We found the mask. You can go back to the beginning of the show, and you'll be able to see what was presented by Mike Paterson, and then the mask that was found to match the video. But it's all there in the beginning, so you'll have to go all the way back. Okay, you sent me a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to you. So
it's the one of Roger Patterson. It's like a zoom in on his face with two casts. So I just used this AI app to restore like a grainy photo, and it added like lines that were in Roger's face that weren't there in the beginning. And this one little clip sums up Gatewood in like 15 seconds.
okay, hold on.
It's so good. I'm like, it's like I baked a very good
audio.
There's no audio.
Oh, okay. Hold on, I'm bringing it up. Oops. Okay.
See, it does a good job of imagining what might be there.
Interesting.
That's just basically what Todd Gate was doing with AI, claiming he's restoring it with different programs and using words to jump around what AI actually is.
Is it?
So I think that's all he's doing. And then he does one. So if this was a video, this would be one frame out of probably who knows how many. So basically, he's just doing this one frame at a time until he gets the restoration he thinks is good, more or less. And that's what he's doing in a nutshell, basically. So I got a kick out of that.
It does change. It's creating it. It's the computer creating that image, because you can obviously see the changes. Getting crow's feet and it's putting stuff in. Brian King Sharp, I agree we cannot let the hoaxes run free. And yes, if scientific academia extends an olive branch of interest, they may never do it again if they ever seen Patterson's crap first.
Very well said, my friend. I concur.
Yeah. Now's your chance to ask any questions for Brian before he has to take off. So put those questions in the chat there. If you put them in caps, we can find it easier. What do you think about Ron, the impact on the community?
Well, just make sure audio's still good, right? I'm always double, triple checking. I think that, I'm as we'll get into as we kind of talk about my own experiences that I just recently had in Ontario, that are like leave me with so many questions and make me wonder, like, really, like, what, like, am I misperceiving something, or if am I actually getting closer to like my own understanding? Like I think that the support that I could get from the community is shifted. Everyone's primary attention is shifted away from me, and it's difficult for me to, like, I'm a person of the field, and that's where I really shine, because that's where I put all my hours trying to learn ecosystems and relationships and where they will be. And when I focus and hyper focus on being at the right place at the right time with the right equipment, and then no one ever even engages with it, you know, because I'm not like a big social media persona or something like that. And those people instead flock to the people who are very savvy with that, and also putting out like fake things. Like, it's just kind of, it's frustrating because I put all this work in contributing something to the mystery and perhaps getting closer to it, and no one will ever see it, and I just wither and die. And perhaps because of, you know, like, I have to debate whether or not it's do I move forward with this, or do I have to like look after my own best interests and disassociate from it. Like, it's literally life and death for hardworking, honest researchers, when the wrong guy is in the spotlight, and it keeps us all in the dark, from getting closer to understanding what's actually out there.
Well, you and I,
so we go back and forth, Tate and I, we just like, we're
for hours.
Yeah, like, it's just the integrity is so important for us, and like when it's not there and it's rewarded for like the conscious manipulation of the community, it's probably one of the most infuriating things that you can experience from within the community. Like, in our position where we're spending every last penny to get out there and get better results for the collective understanding.
Well, it's
and that's what's happened, though. That's sadly is that real researchers have pulled back from social media. They leave it altogether. They don't post their stuff. You'll see something from them occasionally out this weekend, and that's all you'll hear, you know, because they're done having to try to go above the nonsense that's already out there posting constantly. You know, the ones that go out every weekend and they see Bigfoot every weekend and they have experiences every time they go out. That's what creates kind of unbelievable, you know, evidence. Their evidence. It's not evidence to anybody else because they can't show it. But that's what's happening.
Yeah, I know people who have left the community over the years since I've been at, because of the way the community was like 10 years ago. I mean, it was a whole lot different now. The social media wasn't what it is today in the community, and now it's just gotten a lot worse. And like Ron said, you know, when you try to be honest and put your last penny into these trips to do research, you know what? Like, yeah, maybe I get skunked the whole month of these destinations we go to frequently. You would think we would get something. That's disappointing, but at least at the end of the day, when I put out content, I'm like, okay, I didn't fake this, and I was real with what I put out. And so I could at least feel a little bit better that I got nothing because I'm being honest at the end of the day.
Right. Well, that's the hopes. You know, we've said it over and over, many of us, is that we go out, but it's the same thing. Usually every time, you know, it's just us walking around in the woods and seeing what's around us. We're not always going to be seeing the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, and we're not going to sensationalize it by saying, oh, what's that sound over there? Oh my God, you know, it's a Bigfoot. It's a Bigfoot around the corner.
Too, you know, it's like Ron and I have worked with the Small Town Monsters guys, and then for Ron and I, our trips and film endeavors, you know, you don't actually, people don't see a lot of the planning stuff behind the scenes or last minute, like, oh, well, this had to change because of this scenario, whatever. People don't get to see that. They only see like the real meaty parts of the whole trip, basically the investigation and maybe what happened with a few people you interviewed. But in reality, if you were to show everything, it'd be very boring, and you realize nothing really happens, and it's not what people. It's definitely not what television fantasizes it to be about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of the entertainment stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely when you're out there, it's like it's hard work. I put the same level of effort into it as I do like my everyday job, and I'm sweating and I'm sore, and it's an exhausting experience to just go and meticulously deploy the audio, deploy the cameras, hoping that something will happen. Even a deer is great luck if you get something on a trail camera at all for the limited time you might be out there. And
Right.
like there's just a lot of effort. It's one of those things like it's. First of all, I'll say it's my dad's birthday, so happy birthday,
Yeah.
Papa Reed. He's 70. But he used to tell me, he's like, oh, well, now you got some vacation. You're gonna go out and do your Bigfoot fun time, or not quite like that, but he would call it a vacation, and I'm like, not really. It's I'm gonna be equally as stressed, but maybe enjoy the setting a little bit more. At least I'll have views, but it's work, and yeah, and for sometimes to not even get the results you're wanting, it's a big psychological, like keeping yourself motivated and not to get beat up just because you didn't do what the collective society has also failed to do. So it's all about putting things in reference and coming to terms with things amidst this giant effort that we undertake whenever we go out.
Right. It is work, even for the lay person. For me, it takes me 3 days to pack my gear and to go through everything, make sure you have everything. And that's no fun. And it's no fun coming back home, putting it all away and cleaning it all up and stuff.
Not to mention people who like drive clear across the country, like Ron and I, we're using our own personal cars with the money that we make, and we're taking time off work. And you're talking on 4 or 5 days of driving, something can go wrong with your car. So, and then you'd be out of car, and yeah, we're not making any money. Even if we're putting out content as equal as the people who are claiming they're making or seeing Bigfoot, we're not making that much money. We're everyday Joe.
All right, folks, I am going to hop off. I've got to get out of this chair. I can't sit for more than an hour after I've had surgery a couple of weeks ago. So I got to get up and move, but I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Share it far and wide. Let everybody know in all those Facebook groups that it is a mask, folks. Nefertia is not real.
Yeah, it's a mask. It is. Thank you for coming on, Brian. Totally appreciate it. You can find all Brian's information down into the description. I've listed them there, and go show him a little love. And thanks for coming on and sharing your findings.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.
Good night. What?
I'm just letting Ron know I'm on top and he's on the bottom.
Oh, I think this has been something we always talk about anyway, is that the real research doesn't get its accolades, not like, the big, channels out there that do see the Bigfoot all the time. But what's amazing is that when some of the true researchers or investigators, I think a lot of us like to be called investigators instead of researchers, but is that when we go out there, we don't see anything. We don't find anything. It's just a lot of hard walking. And I know that for me, there are good researchers out there who I feel are honest and will just show you what they find and show you their data. And that's Sasquatch Wizard Adirondacks, Finding the Trackway. They're both on the East Coast. You've got, we had Brent. We'll see if anything comes from his trots out in the woods anymore. But we have both of you guys who have shown nothing but integrity in what you show. You got to keep the good ones. I used to always love John Redchun back in the day. He had great videos. He just showed what he finds. and he doesn't post anymore. You know, every now and then he'll post something, but he's still out there. And there's a lot of others there. You just have to find. I mean, a lot of the oldies but goodies are fading away. Thomas Steenberg, you know, he's really great at investigating, but you know, he's getting up there, getting up there, Thomas. So, you know, some of these, I'm sure this last trek, if Brent jumps on, he can say, you know, I'm sure it was kind of tedious. Well, you were there, Tate, you know, on Thomas trying to get down to the film site. You're muted if you're talking. He drowned. Tate, don't drown on live air. Silly. Anyway, 20 years and people still fighting. Mike, he lives in people's heads and wins every time. Yeah, he will. And I'll still probably be around. The comments are still covering the comments. I think you need to restart your computer because I see everything just fine on both the live feed and on StreamYard. So I think it's a your whatever you're watching on issue. Is anybody else having any issues like that? His phone fell in the hot tub. Probably. Now he's gonna be stuck on here forever. Is at the bottom of the hot tub. Yeah. The search. Okay, Trackways. Oops. That didn't work. The search for the creature is taxing. Presenting it in an understandable format is ridiculously taxing. That's true. Well, you have 100 things, 100 audios, videos, everything. You know, you record so much. You have a shit ton of data. So I can't imagine having that much. That's dedication because I don't have the patience to sit and listen to audios every night.
Okay, were you asking for me?
Yeah.
My phone was
We all
about to die.
grounded.
No, I was trying to rush to get my phone charged.
Oh. I was asking about Thomas and how, you know, some of the older generation, it's getting hard for them to get out there now. But you experienced that with Thomas up in Bluff Creek.
How was it with Thomas in Bluff Creek?
Yeah.
Phone was cutting out, so I was guessing the question.
Oh.
It was pretty surreal to be with him up there. I think Brent put it perfectly when we were walking into the film site with him. He's like, "It's walking with history right here." Because like he's been to the film site with Bob Gimlin and Renee DeHinden, and he's been there in the '80s, and he's seen what it looks like when the vegetation around the film site was relatively low. So, I mean, and the guy has a lot of knowledge about a lot of the people, and he's met a lot of the people. So, it was really special to do that.
Man, I'm so jealous that I didn't get to go on this trip, but I got to make it happen at some point.
That's okay. I missed out on that as well.
See, we'll have to plan another one. We'll get Thomas out there again.
we're gonna force him here.
Now you're cutting out. What did you say?
Oh, I said that we're gonna force Thomas out there next year for July.
Oh yeah. It was a surprising amount of people that were up there, I thought. We got 99 problems and Bigfoot ain't one of them. Right. That's true. This is still got to be fun. You know, oh, let me get that off of there. There you go. Still fun. It's still fun for me. Yeah, regular life gets in the way, and sometimes I got to cancel a show or got to cancel going somewhere. It does cost a lot of money. I don't know how you guys can make it all the way across to California every year. I mean, it's a lot. it's a lot, and doing these little shows doesn't do that. It doesn't cut it for me anyway. Bluff Creek is a waste of time. Go to Mount Rushmore or something. No, I still got to go to Bluff Creek. I mean, it's iconic.
I mean, we're always like trying to figure out what the component of Bluff Creek is, and I definitely think that they're still there. I think Tate agrees with me. We've had just enough happen to where it's like something is happening out there. But I think that the solution of honing in on that is just going to be a lot more complex than I think most people they realize or they're willing to consider. There's a very specific, I think, like relationship that they have with the land and the resources out there, and we're still trying to figure out what the missing component is. Like, where are they going to be at a specific time? Like, where is our chance most likely? And more than likely, it's a cross of a vital resource and its abundance in an area, and I guess the remoteness of that area for them to be able to exploit that resource without encountering any dangers or threats.
Right.
And we have some ideas on what that might be. We've considered things that are unique to that Six Rivers habitat, like berries or the salmon populations or different things like that. And a lot of that has changed over time because of fires and floods and natural events. So unfortunately, the right place, 60 years ago might not be the right place now. And it's understanding that thing, the understanding that part of the world very comprehensively and Bigfoot's place in it before we get what we're looking to get. And that's the challenge that wildlife biologists have when they're trying to research gray wolves or pronghorn antelope or mountain lions. That it's every local population is a little bit different, and so they behave differently, and they've evolved for thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, independently from the individuals 2,000 miles west. So it's not easy, but I still encourage people not to just say, oh, that's a dead spot, they're not there anymore, oh, the last one died and the skeleton's long gone. I challenge that because I think that I look at it like I missed something. I don't have a complete picture to this puzzle, so let's go back to the drawing board.
Right. Do you feel, because you've been on a lot of different areas, Ron, that, oh, hi, Brent.
Hey, what's up?
Brent, you look like you're on, dude.
I look like what?
It looks like you're on shrooms.
Well, maybe from your perspective, buddy, what's in your drink?
Alcohol?
That sounds good. Good choice.
On a Sunday night? Don't you got to work tomorrow?
I only have like 3.
Only 3.
Only
Still good. He's good. No, he's good for like 10 at least.
18 shots of Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Oh, dang. But no, I was going to say, Ron, you've been in a lot of different areas as well as Tate on the whole U.S. And do you feel like they still exist in all these different areas? Or is there one area you're like, they're not here?
Tate, do you want to answer this first?
Don't you say what you're going to say.
What?
I'm just messing with you. No, because it's funny because Ron and I were in Bluff Creek, and we go there all the time. And I think just one year, we were like talking, it's like, man, we come out here and to like Washington, to Oregon, to Bluff Creek, and all these different areas, and we've only had one good year and then one possible year where there was some really questionable stuff that were possibly Bigfoot. I guess I don't use those two words in the same sentence, but my point is we got to a point where, like, yeah, do these things even exist, or are they still in the area? And then we just like kind of reflect and talk about like the different things we've had happen on trips, and you kind of fool yourself into thinking they can't exist when you've had definite experience of something you can't explain. That's the way I view it. I don't know, Ron, is that where you're going with it?
I mean, I think there's areas that it makes sense where they are, but I think that I'm trying to think if there's really a spot where there are reports and the area is known as a hotspot. But I'm like somewhat skeptical of it. I feel like there's not so many places like that because I mean there's not an abundance of Bigfoot reports that aren't obvious hoaxes that like come from like the barren sand desert, of like no one's like really saying like that. I mean, and I could be wrong because I'm not engaging with the online Bigfoot community every day. But when people are like, yeah, they're right out here in the barren red rock of Utah, or they're out here hanging out in Death Valley, like it's easy to kind of rule out that because you don't even have like animals that are somewhat comparable. Like there's barely enough of an ecosystem for a jackrabbit, like much less a bear or a Bigfoot or something bigger. But I think what I've looked at is sightings and population density and how they might create this false perception of data. In an area that I'm critical of, or two areas that I'm critical of, is the Everglades and Colorado. I think that there could be something there. But I think that the data is a bit skewed because it's human occupied. It's very human population density is on a whole nother level than somewhere like the Pacific Northwest or
I think there's definitely a higher
up north.
There's a higher count of Bigfoots in the PNW than there are in Florida, like you said, because Florida's more populated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the theory is it's different people seeing the same family, like family members of each group.
Right. We've talked about that misconception of how it could be a few Bigfoot seen often, or it could be, there's also with the explosion of more potential witnesses, the chance for misidentification or deliberate hoaxing is also like extremely high or higher than in an area where, I mean, maybe not, I guess, like, but it just, I guess it's, I think with the accessibility of areas like Florida and how like, an urban environment has more crossover, there's more potential for that dishonest narrative or that misidentify, like uneducated narrative to kind of take hold and give itself like its own life. I don't know if I'm making too much sense there, but
it does. I mean, the skunk ape really grew, that whole narrative and the whole idea stemming from even way back with what's the name of that famous shot of the skunk ape?
Or the
Mayaka.
Mayaka,
the Mayaka one that just blew up, right? And then you got a series of sightings kind of off of that. So it could have stirred something there, but are they still there? Has human encroached so much, or is there still huge Everglades? And do they live in the Everglades? Do they live in the swamp?
I think, I don't know, man. It's like, bears do it, so I think a Bigfoot could do it, and there's deers down there too. So it's all these ungulates that aren't water adapted by any means. They live in the Everglades and they survive. So because of that, I do think there's Bigfoots that could survive down there too. But again, I just don't think the population is high as people think it is.
I don't think the population is high anywhere.
No, well, I feel like if you were to like put all the encounters that happened just in the state of California into the state of Florida, it would be actually overwhelming to the state of
Well,
Florida. On
for sure.
But yeah, who's to say a lot of those sightings that are reported are real and stuff too?
Right. And Brent, so what do you think about this whole show? What do you think about Mr. Mike?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I'm sure he's still watching. Hi, Mike. Kind of awkward now, isn't it? You know, with the evidence so obvious. And kudos to Brian for finding that and bringing it to everybody's attention. And you know, it's not even up for debate. I mean, it's like, do we need more evidence to prove that he's hoaxing? I mean, we really don't. But this is just like another like a home run, pretty much. And you know, I had a video about mentioned this in chat earlier. I had a video about Mike still up, and it has like hundreds of comments and stuff. And the vast majority are supportive, or they're like, "Oh, thanks for telling me." And you know, because some people are on the fence and they need that little extra information to push them over to reality versus, you know, living in someone's fantasy. Because that's kind of what we're doing, or what Mike's doing, is just creating this whole delusional fantasy, and it's going to be weird to see. I mean, the thing is he just doesn't even have to address it anymore, and it'll pretty much, you know, it'll always be there, but he can still go on with his little grift that he's doing. But at this point, I think it's very obvious that it's not like, you know, he's lost in the narrative himself. No, he's actively out there, you know, hoaxing. And if he's getting money for it too, and like people donating money because, you know, they think what he's doing is real and all that stuff. I mean, that could be like fraud by deception, and, you know, who knows? I mean, I don't know, who knows, but it's a good show. You know, kudos to everybody for yeah. I mean, but yeah, it was a good show. I mean, you know, shows like this need to happen. I would hope that more people, you know, even the story channels would discuss this and really kind of get this out there. So it's like you know, we're all on the same page with it. So we don't, you know, just so it's just out there for everybody. So I think you're the first one to actually do a show on this.
Aside from Brian's done, you know, did his coming out with his findings stuff, but an actual commentary, you know, talking about it all and what the impact is and how that affects, you know, the newcomers into the field, because it's constant. We're constantly getting new people, and what do? They look up Bigfoot, and these big channels are the ones that come up first thing, and you know, they are drinking the Kool-Aid, unfortunately, and we don't want that. You know, we don't want them to do that.
Yeah, but you know, you know, I used to be dedicated to like busting hoaxers and stuff, and you know, it does need to be done, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, because there always is a new influx of people coming in, and a lot of these people you can't disprove them, because we're in a subject that has no information that we can latch onto to be like, okay, this is what we can vet all this evidence or whatever coming against. So we don't have any of that. So, you know, what we have, in my opinion, is just there's a lot of you know, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but there's a lot of lonely people in the world that don't get seen, and I think that this is a subject where they can be seen, be somebody that they're not in real life. And you know, that's why I think we get a lot of this LARPing and fake evidence and stuff like that. It's just it fills a void in people, which, you know, kind of makes you feel bad for them in a way too. But you know, I don't really have a problem with the people who use this subject for whatever reasons, just as long as they're not grifting or, you know, doing like nefarious things where they're like Mike, for instance. I mean, his response, did you guys, I didn't catch the first part. Did you guys play or show his the messages Mike sent? It's like, man, dude, nothing about the mask really, you know. It's like trying to, like, you know, counter the mask. Oh no, XYZ. No, it's just like you take personal attacks at him. It's like, man, that shows a lot about his character right there, where he doesn't really address. I mean, his addressing of the mask is such a joke that it's like that's the best he literally can come up with. That was it. And it's like, I can understand. I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't know any other angle either, and except for something as stupid as that. And but this is his legacy. Due to social media and stuff, information like this is getting out and it's more prominent. Like Tate was talking about earlier, 10 years ago, man, this stuff you couldn't even really talk about this because you would get flooded with hate, and there wasn't really that many resources out there. But now things are really starting to change, and I think Mike is going to feel that more and more. And I think he'll realize that his legacy is basically is being a grifter, a scammer, somebody that is just dishonest, that just not a very good person. And I think ultimately that's what will come down to, is that's his legacy right there, and it's his own bed. He's laying in it. It's his choice.
Yeah, like when you're talking about those personal attacks, that's a type of logical fallacy, like an ad hominem, right? Or hominid.
Ad hominem.
Hominid, yeah. But yeah, it doesn't add any substance or debate the material. It's just like bypassing that and attacking the other person's integrity and like through basic bullying, like trying to delegitimize an otherwise stronger point. Or instead of facing it directly with a counter argument.
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot of those hoaxers use bully tactics. Like Mike, for instance, Paterson here, a complete bully. Like he's using all these excuses. Like Brian's just trying to make a name for himself. He's using AI images and all this stupid stuff. And I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really going to start weighing on it more, because I think a lot more people are not going to support it as much going forward, like some of his true supporters, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I noticed that though, that people like that like to bully. And he's seeing those messages right there. I mean, that says a lot right there. I mean, that shows you who he is. He's not somebody that, is in contact with a spiritual Sasquatch being that's so enlightened that, he's so much further ahead. Because I saw the messages. Did you even play your message? Did you play your messages?
Yeah. Well,
yes.
I showed.
Yeah. So that there goes to show you how much he looks down on all of us, because he thinks he's way up here in this high vibrational state of mind when he's actually like at the very bottom, and it's just really bizarre how he himself can't even see that. And but yeah, man, that's sums up Mike right there.
Mud thrown at one Bigfooter. Well, that one Bigfooter, 1,000 followers who are falling for this. And so, go ahead.
Yeah, if people put out stupid information, fake hoax stuff, we have every right to throw mud, eggs, everything at them because it's stupid. Unless they're, you can tell that it's like something that's really personal and that's needing for them, that they need it for themselves, that is fine. But yeah, people like Mike, we should definitely throw mud at him, among other things.
It's a dead on. It's the mask. It's the mask.
Yeah, if you're just getting into this subject, that's all you need to see. You don't need to go learn all about the Truth Prevails, about how Dwayne came out and all that stuff. You don't need to learn any of that. You just go look at this. Proven hoaxer right here. We're at delusion right now.
See all the juicy little nidbits. Go check this channel out. And boy, he saved every comment from 5 and 6 years ago. He collected whoever this is. We're not quite sure who it is behind the Truth Prevails. I have my suspicions, but
Kit Moral, guys.
What? You think it's Kip?
No,
throwing names out there.
Started.
That would be so cool.
Now that's going to be a bit with him. He's going to be intentionally vague. Like, I don't know, maybe it could be me. It could be me, Tate.
I can see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, good job to you, Nikki, for putting the show on and having, the courage to have these discussions.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
to
I mean
have
that
them.
one right there is.
That was my favorite. That's
What
my
the heck?
favorite.
Yeah.
Who falls for that, you know? And then when it came out really fast. That Daryl came out really right away. Just gonna leave this here. Here's a screen capture from Mr. P video from the Sasquatch Eye, and here's the source from inside the cottage.
Like I'm just trying to like frame that around the head of a primate, and it just doesn't. There's just like an immediate, like I'm trying to like
Yeah.
imagine like, and it just doesn't click. It doesn't, like I can't even imagine a Bigfoot with like giant dead fish eyes like that.
Yeah.
Oh, but
And also
Mike knows.
how
Mike's in touch.
Neff and the family go and write notes to him. They go into the cottage, and then they scribble some stuff, and then every day he had a new note from them. Just a bunch of scribbles on there. So crazy.
I just think like fully committing to creative writing and like posting that on like Reddit and or just anywhere, like like get the story. He's clearly get some creative ideas, but quick advertising it as nonfiction.
Well, dude, now with
Like
ChatGPT,
just accept it as like good fiction, and like there's money in that. People love
his,
story.
his identity revolves around Sasquatch Ontario, so he can't get rid of Sasquatch Ontario because they're one and the two. It's an ego thing for him. There's no way. He's such a narcissist that he can't ever admit that he was wrong. He will go down as Sasquatch Ontario, the most enlightened person in the world, to his dying day. He's that much of a narcissist, and that's just what they do.
And that's what he believes. He's been enlightened. He believes in the Pleiadians, this thing right here, where the aliens have come down and they put their seed onto everybody, and Bigfoot are the
Pleiadians.
They're
we get them at the quick trip around here every now and then. They stop through.
You said Pleiadians?
Pleiadians, yeah.
I thought that was like a Pleiades following. That's what Pleiades called.
Same here, like a cult group. That's the first thing I thought of too. Damn, you got a cult group? I want one.
Valir. I guess I'm thinking that I just watched a little bit of the beginning, because you know what? The video actually has connotations of like being hypnotized. It's got that music in the background, and the voice is very soothing, and it's very hypnotizing to watch this video. And it's got all kinds of graphics and stuff going on. So I think it kind of like hypnotizes you. And so I stopped watching it, but it was pretty much getting at that whole bit that you have to be in a better place, a higher place to see them and to experience these experiences and all that kind of stuff.
It kind of makes me want to experience or experiment with something. People will try the spiritual approach to be next to a higher power, but I kind of feel that way with like a good meal. So I wonder if put out vibes from my view of how good like a barbecue brisket is while camping, because everybody knows food is better while camping, and then that is like a godsend. So there's got to be some kind of spiritual connection with the food you're going to eat when you're camping in the woods, and put that energy out. I don't know, maybe.
Hey, I used to know a gal who every time she went squatching, the first thing they would do would put like 3 pounds of bacon and onions in a big old thing, and they would cook up bacon and onions, because they said
that's good energy.
I was like, that'd bring about all the animals, probably all the bears and raccoons, and everybody would probably come in just for that smell.
Not like literal, they could smell the food sense, but like they could just sense your vibe. How happy you are about to eat a good meal.
Except for Brent. Brent needs to learn how to keep his food cold, so he doesn't out there.
I also got kidney stones too. I passed a kidney stone when I was out at Pumpkin Lake. Like literally, it was like the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my life, pretty much. Like, because
not had luck. I am sorry, buddy. You have had a couple of months.
Yeah, yeah, for real. I was like, dang, karma. But yes. So it was like a bunch of us were at this new camp, which they named after me, Stone Camp, because I guess, the whole kidney stone. But it was like a terrifying experience because I knew it was coming. I felt it, like you could feel it. I've had them enough to really know. And then it just started coming. I'm like, holy shit. And I was like, we're all out by the camp or by the light, because you can have a campfire. And it's just like, I was having a hard time. It's like, I had to go lay down. And, everybody was so cool. Alex, all them, were very nice. Jonathan and Renee and all them were very nice with like bringing water and always like checking like, hey, are you guys okay? Are you okay? And stuff. And they already had a plan to like help medevac me out because literally it was probably like 4 hours to a hospital. And if you've ever had kidney stones and on like a bumpy road, that's like the worst experience. I was thinking in my head, can they get like life flight out here? Like a helicopter land in this like meadow or something? It was like the worst experience. It was fun at Bumping Lake though, but that sucked.
It would have been better if I was there because I would have been, everyone's trying to get you sober. I would be like, hey, you want a beer with me?
Yeah. Yeah, something. Yeah, it's it's quite the experience though. Back to what you're talking about, Tate. Yeah, the funnest part of the whole Bluff Creek thing was me, you, and Thomas were there at that rock thing there, and we were just pushing rocks over. Man, that was like the best experience ever. That was like just so much fun, just watching them tumble down. It's just wow. It's like my new thing. Like I watch rock videos now, like people pushing rocks over. I don't know.
It's scary because you don't know if there's people down there. But I mean, we were the last ones.
Yeah, and there was no trail there or anything.
We're just waiting for like a huge rock that we threw down to like buddy, and they're like, "Oh my god, my leg!" Or like we hit Thomas because we forgot him down there.
Whoops.
We've done it in Bluff Creek a little bit ourselves because we have to clear the roads a lot out there, and we've thrown some huge rocks that really get the momentum, and we'll go for like close to a minute, and we're just like always listening. I'm in my demented state, I'll be listening, and I'm like, what if we hear like a meaty chunk sound, and then like something crying out in pain, like, and what is how we solve the mystery is we're just being a couple of jerks, and then all of a sudden just take away like half of the shoulder of something, like from a rock going down a mountain.
There's our DNA.
Here's what I'll say. I'll build us
up. Gonna go down and get it.
I'll build us up and not jerks. Leave out the part of us having fun about throwing rocks. I'll be like, yeah, there was a rock slide when we were driving through, and we got out to watch and record it, and we heard a chunk sound. I'll leave it. That's just the
That's what we say.
But that's what everybody does, right? With a legit story.
I think so.
Who is this? Who are you? I thought I know who you were, but
EDP 1976.
Orleans fans?
Well, Saints.
I mean, I don't.
Falcon.
I don't know, man. It seems like kind of like one of those base was like, okay, like where, how?
I don't hardly even go out.
Maybe he's confusing. Yeah, maybe he's confusing. Yeah, maybe he's confusing you with someone else or something.
I don't know. I think he's trying to disrupt.
Is he trying to be a troll but not very good at it?
Yeah,
those are the worst.
You made me confused.
Yeah, Brent one time farted into a footprint that we found and it ruined it.
You said you weren't ever going to tell anybody that.
Oh no, I made that up, guys.
How come they've never found a skeleton of a Bigfoot? That's because the forest floor immediately consumes anything that dies.
I'll say this. In Northern California, there's so many people that go missing because of either just stupidity or because of cartel-related activities. And generally, they never will find the bodies, or people who go missing, they never find them anyway. Because, forest decomposition happens pretty rapid.
And even if it's not immediate, like even if like there's articles of clothing or particularly dense bones, there's also like cover, lots of duff, pine needles that fall in coniferous forests and like deciduous forests. You got the leaves, and that will completely cover something. And if it's off a beaten path and it's not obvious, or people choose not to investigate a rotting smell in the woods, then a lot of these animal carcasses, and potentially even Bigfoot included, like they're just never going to be seen, and they're never going to be discovered. And so even if it's not gone in a week from a particularly acidic or decomposing, like rich environment, still like the force will kind of cover it up so that it can decompose in a longer period of time. So
I mean, if anybody wants to know more about decomposition, look up just a time lapse of a dead deer in the forest and see how fast it gets eaten away.
Yeah.
And I think it's only in the matter of a week or so that it
I think
happens.
it's a week. Yeah.
That-
and
yeah,
some
that-
cases on the weather.
that I experienced that on my family property in Tennessee. There was a deer that got caught on a barbed wire fence, and I don't know if it had a heart attack and panicked, but it was just draped over the fence. And by the end of 6 days, or right at that 1 week mark, it was just a grease stain. Like, and I would go up and check on it, and like 2-3
Yeah.
days in, like there were the vultures, and there weren't any bones. It was just grease and like a little, like the hair that wasn't consumed.
Wow. Yeah. I never saw as much forest, the leftovers, like in British Columbia when we were walking around out there. You couldn't get off the trail without sinking, you know. It was just so thick, the forest floor. So I totally believe in that. That's for sure.
Isn't there a Bigfoot related story, Brent, you told? I don't know if you can tell it. That search and rescue thing that you're telling us about, it was also Bigfoot related?
Oh, well, I don't know if it's Bigfoot related. Are you talking about that missing lady, Lindsay Ballman?
Yeah, dude. I remember you telling me that
Yeah.
story. Oh.
Yeah, I can't say it's Bigfoot or anything, but yeah, it's a lady who went missing, and man, it's a hike it's called Lake Blevin, and it's just a pretty easy hike, pretty much, because it's an old logging road. It only has two precarious creek crossings that, yeah, you know, if you're not solid, you could probably go over, but you know. Search and rescue put 3,000 hours in it with everybody combined, and she's like gone. And so the search and rescue dog only went like halfway to the trail, or to the lake there, and then turned around, and all her stuff was still at her camp. Like, she had these drinks cooling in this like little runoff area, and her sunglasses, her phone, and all her stuff was still at the camp. So it's just like, she just kind of like was plucked up from like a UFO or whatever. And so, you know, I went out there because I work with the families afterwards. And so I was working with the daughter. She can't really get up there and stuff. So went up there, and, you know, we couldn't find anything, couldn't really do anything. And then last fall, my buddy Cosmo sent me a video about this guy he has a YouTube video that just talks about missing people. And so he went up to where this lady went, and it was early in the morning, and this isn't a very well-traveled area. And he started having all these rocks thrown at him and stuff, and you can hear it in real time. You can actually see the reaction in real time. And it's like, man, that's pretty wild. And so we went back up there, didn't really find anything. And but yeah, it was an interesting place, interesting story. I don't know what happened to her. Like, it's still a mystery. I just talked to her daughter not too long ago to try, because I had to get permission to get a FOIA request, and so Eric's doing that. And, you know, I don't know. Would like to go back out there and you know, try and, because that's just, you know, out of all the searches I've been on, that's like one of the biggest, like, what the hell happened to her, because doesn't look like it was you know, because there's mountain lions in the area too, but there wasn't any activity. And one of the first times I went up there, some of her stuff was still there. Like I have pictures of like, you know, her shirt and stuff like in the fire pit and that stuff, the fire ring and stuff. And like some of her stuff is still there. And it's just like really, really bizarre. Like it's just a really weird situation. And so I don't know. A lot of people go missing every year, usually because they fall, hurt their leg, hurt a leg, ankle, whatever. And they usually die from exposure or whatever, or something that they are falling in old mine shafts, like the old air vent mine shafts, which, you know, if you overlay Pleiades clusters with these mine shafts, there's like a lot of parallels going on. And they actually found a guy not too long ago in a mine shaft that they found just randomly and stuff. So, you know, it can happen as far as that, but yeah, I'm rambling now. What else are you talking about?
Didn't you have a video about that? Didn't you guys go up there and there was a little cabin in there? It was a really interesting place because the way the road sets and then it takes a curve and goes up. So there's a higher road on the lower one, right? It's like
so it sneaks back up there to 2 switchbacks, I think it is, and then then that's when it goes straight over. It's pretty much level all the way to Lake Blevins. That's where you get your first creek crossing and stuff. And so when we were back there doing a follow up to the guy's rock throwing event, the whole when I was out there, it was like, you know, it wasn't a well groomed trail or anything like that. It was just like, because nobody really went out there. But literally like 3 or 4 months after that woman went missing, this guy bought like 160 acres of this whole hillside, right? And he bought it for $200,000 cash. And, you know, because we were out there talking to him, and he's only allowed to build like 100 square foot A-frame cabin. And but he spent like so much money plowing the road, because it was an old logging road that turned into a trail that he turned back into a road. And so he talked about all the culverts and all the stuff that he's done. And he heard about the lady going missing, but you know, he hasn't had any experiences up there. He's rarely there. He does have a trail camera that's going. I don't know if it's a satellite. I don't think it is satellite, but so he has a trail cam going out there. But I wish I would have got his phone number. But he gave us permission to go camp on his property and stuff because he pretty much owns half of this part of this mountain now, which is, I mean, there's really no, like, the guy must be rich, because it's like, man, there's just no value there. It's like, it sucks to get to. And you got this small little cabin, and it's literally your cabin's at this trailhead. And it sucks. But anyway, so it was an interesting experience. I think if you look on my channel from like November, October, somewhere around there is when I have it, which has that dude's video of the rock throwing thing is linked in that video. So if anybody wants to check it out, I mean, that's one of the craziest missing persons that I've come across around here that I've personally been on and stuff. And I don't know, I'm just fascinated. I was talking to Jonathan Brown earlier this year, and he wants to go out and do a video on it and stuff, which really got me really interested in, again, going over the notes and all that stuff, and waiting for the FOIA to come back and see what they kind of come up with, because with talking with the daughter, they just they didn't really give her any information, and she's, you know, a lot of these people, they can't physically go out there, and so after search and rescue means their deployment, they got nobody. It's pretty much good luck, and you know, so yeah,
it's a big area and a lot of animals. So who knows? Anyway, thank you guys for coming on and letting me know what your feelings are about this Mike guy and everything else. Tate, you have anything to share before we go?
Yeah, nobody be a hoaxer. That's all I gotta say.
Nobody be a hoaxer. No hoaxing allowed. How about you, Ron?
Well, initially, I did want to just say that initially I got on this show because I saw the word Sasquatch in Ontario, and I went to Ontario just 2 months ago and went to an area, did my research, like honed in on some stuff, and got some interesting recordings. But I know that the hour's late, and I know that we were wanting to deep dive Mike and stuff. But
we can have you back on.
There's
We can
definitely
back
some
on.
interesting stuff. I'm trying to like deep dive and do more of a comprehensive like peer review. And I'm not getting too many takers right now. But I'm impressed with some of the finds on the audio. But you can talk about it later.
Nice. That sounds interesting. Brent, you got anything coming up or anything?
No, I just wanted to say hi to Mike Paterson and be like, hey man, is this kind of awkward? Like, I don't know, like being exposed like this. That's all I really want to say was hi to Mike.
Okay. Well, you guys, tonight we heard from Brian King Sharp about his investigation into the mask behind one of the Sasquatch Ontario's most famous photos. Whether you believe this proves a hoax or you think there's still more to the story, the important thing is that we keep asking questions. This channel has always been about the truth and finding answers. Hoaxes only take away from the real work being done in the field and cloud the public's perception of what Bigfoot research is really about. By shining light on questionable evidence, we protect the integrity of the search for Sasquatch and give space for the good, credible research to rise to the surface. So at the end of the day, Bigfoot deserves honesty, curiosity, integrity from all of us. So let's continue searching together. Chat, thank you for being here and supporting me and joining us here at Sasquatch Secrets. So until next time, keep on the squatching, and we'll see you in the next chat, everybody. Good night.
ABBA.